I hate it here. It is over 1,000 pages, but I could read 1,000 more. This next chapter is going to absolutely destroy me. Hello guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. If you're new here, hello, my name is Laura. Today we are going to be picking up my most highly anticipated read of my entire life, actually. I know in every fibre of my being that this book is going to be a god tier for me, but that has also made me put off starting it. I just haven't been able to bring myself to pick it up yet. I've been reading all the other books on my TBR for this month before it and saving this for the end of the month because we are now coming to the end of October, and it is honestly way past time that I picked this up. And the book we are going to be reading is, of course, Alchemised by SenLinYu. I feel like this book needs absolutely no introduction, but if you haven't, for whatever reason, heard of this book before, please do bear in mind that it is not a romantasy and it would require you to check the trigger warnings, because even though I haven't read it yet, I know a lot of the content that's in it, and I know a lot of the content in it is quite heavy and quite dark. So please do check the trigger warnings and look after yourself, guys, if you do plan on picking this one up. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a time crunch as per usual. I'm actually heading down to London in about an hour, so I'm gonna quickly make myself a drink, sit with you, read the first chapter, and then we're gonna get on our way down to London, and of course I'll be taking the book with me. I am also going to try and annotate this one. I would have liked a paperback copy to be able to annotate with, but in the UK currently there's only hardbacks available, and I missed my chance for a paperback one. I should have ordered it, I don't know why I didn't, but anyway, it's too late now, and we're just gonna go ahead and annotate the standard hardback because I do also have the Waterstones edition, but we're just gonna annotate the standard one, and I'm gonna take it with me down to London. And I'm gonna stop talking now. We're gonna go make ourselves a drink, get comfy, and start this book. So if I don't get a chance to do a first chapter recap with you, I will recap with you as soon as I get back to my hotel in London, and hopefully I can get a decent amount of reading done on the train as well. I did also get the audiobook for this, so I will be immersive reading, which is my favourite way to read. Let's just pick this book up and see how much we can get read in the time I have left. I'm sat in the car at the train station, and I'm just going to do a little bit more reading of Alchemised. So I had an alarm set on my phone to let me know that I needed to set off to go to the train station. It was while I was reading, it went off, and then I thought, oh my god, that's gone really fast. And then I ended up having to rush to get my stuff together, running out the door, getting to the train station as fast as I could to make sure I could get a parking spot. I ran to the train platform. Before I stepped onto the train, I looked at my ticket, and thank goodness I did, because I realised I was an hour early, and what I had done is I'd accidentally set my timer to remind me to leave the house at 3:30 instead of 4:30. So we're going to read for a little bit. I was very stressed before, but I've just set myself another timer, and we have 20 minutes that I can sit here and read for, and then I'm going to go and sit on the train platform to make sure I don't miss my train. We're picking up from page 6. We only got a couple of pages in before my alarm went off, which really that should have been the red flag. That should have been what told me that something's wrong. I know some people might ask me about annotating and how I annotate, but I don't actually have a system. I do have the different colours, but I usually just like to match the colours to either the vibes of the book or the cover of the book, and then I just annotate whatever feels right. Also, I didn't mention in my intro that I have read Manacled, because I know I probably will get that question, and as much as I absolutely adored Manacled, and it's probably my favourite thing I've ever read in my entire life, definitely wouldn't say that you need to read Manacled in order to read this, because not only has SenLinYu put in so much effort to distance themselves from that world, and this story is very much their own story, and not to mention that this is actually supporting the author. So that's just my quick piece on Manacled, because I know that I will get some questions about it. Out of respect for SenLinYu and their wishes, I will only be promoting reading Alchemised. You guys can go and do your own research on the sort of discourse around Manacled, fanfiction, JK Rowling, that sort of thing. I will be respecting SenLinYu's wishes and basically supporting their work, because I think they are an absolutely incredible writer. Anyway, we're going back in at page 6. Oh, okay, so the magic system in this includes necromancy. Basically, she has been in stasis and she's woken up, and she's not meant to have woken up. The people who have her captured are really confused. They mentioned the High Necromancer, which I'm guessing is like the main villain of this story. They've just said to her, Helena Marino, you should be dead according to your file. You were marked for culling due to unspecified extensive injuries. The 1918-19 designation means you were selected for stasis. However, there's no record that you ever arrived or underwent processing. So she's a bit of a mystery case all round. Oh god, it is very gory, but I did expect it, to be fair. The magic system is already really intriguing me. So this woman that she's currently with is a Vivamancer, necromancy's inverse twin, which is wielded on the living rather than the dead. Interesting. This woman is trying to interrogate her at the moment, and she's just grabbed her head to do something, and then the woman's just said to her, what is this? Who did this to you? Something has been done to your mind. Someone has basically blocked her memories. And I think I know who. Reading update. So I'm at my hotel for the night, and I am on page 78. This is how far into the book that is, just to give you an idea how chunky this book really is. I have been doing a little bit of annotating, but not as much as I thought I would have done, because sometimes I can get really carried away and just start underlining literally everything that I read. One thing I will say is I didn't expect the sort of magic system and world building to be so heavy. I feel like it's quite complex, but actually I'm enjoying that. It almost feels a little bit like high fantasy, because the magic system is quite unique and intricate. It's not quite as simple as I originally thought, where we have like necromancers, and then there's also the people that I mentioned that are like opposite of necromancy, where they could manipulate the living. There's also this element of like alchemy and manipulating metals, and yeah, it's a whole thing. I think the best way to learn, or I find the best way to learn usually with like quite complex magic systems, is just to keep reading, because you kind of got to trust the author that they may sort of dump some words on you that you're not fully ready to process, but once you kind of hear those words again repeated through the book and the words kind of in use, I find it's like learning on the job. That's how I tend to process information anyway. So they use the magic system in application. I feel like it just makes more sense that way. Anyway, so that is my thoughts regarding the magic system and stuff. I can already tell how much work they've put into changing so many things about this, and like an entirely fresh piece of work. I feel like the only things that they've kept are like the very core elements of the story, and everything else is just completely fresh and new and incredible. It's incredible. And again, I will say there is quite a lot of sort of gore and horror elements in this, but to be fair, I typically like that. I like a sort of gothic and gritty book, and so this is speaking to my gothic spooky heart. So we're now in the presence of our MMC Kane Farron, and he's really mean, you guys. He's really mean. Helena is basically just trying to survive at this point. Anyway, guys, I am gonna get an early night, and then I won't be picking this up again until we are on our train home tomorrow night. Hello friends, it has been a couple of days, so I haven't actually read any of this book since I was on the train back from London because I have just been non-stop since then. We are now on Sunday night and I am sitting down to read some more. We are now at chapter 18 and we are 237 pages in, so this is how far into the book 237 pages is. Obviously I do want to keep this spoiler free, so I will try to tell you what's going on without giving too much away, because as much as I think this is a book you need to go into blind, I am also very aware that it's probably useful for you to know some of the triggers that are in this, because like I've mentioned, this is very dark. For the people that have read this already who are watching this, just before I stopped reading, we had the eye part. If you know, you know. Awful. Yeah. Not enjoyable, made my skin crawl, made me feel like I wanted to scream, but not as much as the chapter after that made me want to scream, because we then had confirmation that she was ready to be installed in the repopulation program. Yeah, you heard that, repopulation program. Yeah, so we all know what that entails. I was almost shaking. I just know this book, I'm so scared, but I really want to read some more. Eddie is away tonight and tomorrow night, so these 2 nights after I've put Honey to bed, of course, I can sit and really dedicate myself to this book. So I'm hoping that we can get a good chunk read tonight before I go to bed. I usually go to bed at about 10. I'm hoping before then we can make it to part 2, because I don't think we're far from part 2 now. Oh yeah, we're not far at all. This is how much we need to read to get to part 2. I've been tabbing a lot more in the chapters now that she's at the manor, just because she's obviously in Kane's presence now, and the interactions between them, although none of them are particularly good right now, I'm just kind of highlighting things that feel meaningful to me, or I feel like will have substance as we get into the next parts of the book. But at this point in the book, he is not giving her anything, not even breadcrumbs. Every action that he's making, there's always a very calculated excuse for it. You could be reading this and almost gaslighting yourself into thinking that there's something there that isn't, but I know better. I wrote here when we were finding out about the program, I want to scream. I did really want to scream, but I was on a train full of people, so not the best environment for screaming. Farron always comes for me. I feel like my eyes are stinging and I'm gonna cry. I'm so unnecessarily emotional. No, it's not unnecessary, it's so necessary. I'm literally crying just thinking about this freaking book. Anyway, I'm about to go into a really horrible chapter. I just know it because we've just found out she's been enrolled in the program and we don't have long until part 2, so I am going to be going through it in these next chapters. This is going to really hurt. I made myself some snacks. I've got some chopped up apple and some frozen grapes. I'm gonna snack while we read. If the destination was inevitable, her only choice was in how horrifying the journey would be. Oh, I hate it here. Reading is so relaxing. I will say, although like this is super upsetting and you know what's happening, it's not super graphic on page, which I do think is great for like a lot of readers, because this is such a tough and sensitive subject to explore, so it is kind of implied and not described, if that makes sense. It's just really heartbreaking, some of the like her inner monologue. Oh, my heart. It was beautiful and it felt like a betrayal. The world was not supposed to be beautiful any longer. It was supposed to be dead and cold, forever mirroring the misery of Helena's life. At this point, I may as well just underline this entire book, and I'm very quickly going to run out of tabs, I fear. Guys, we have made it to part 2. We did it, and I think we will call it a night there, because it is, in fact, 10 o'clock. We timed that perfectly. But wow, we still have a whole journey to go. I cannot believe, well, I can believe because obviously I knew what I was getting myself into. So if you don't know, this is in 3 parts. The first part is the present. So now we're going back into the flashbacks, which make it even worse, actually. Anyway, good night, guys. Hello guys, I was planning on sitting in bed and reading a little bit tonight, but I am absolutely exhausted. I have had the audiobook on while I've been doing some work downstairs, and so I had the audiobook on the whole time and I got like a good chunk listened to. Where were we up to last night? Because I think last night we made it to part 2, so this is how much I managed to listen to while I was doing everything that I needed to do tonight. I did in fact keep stopping what I was doing to come back and annotate, and it's getting a little bit silly. There was a point in time where I was really trying not to stop and underline every single thing that I was listening to. I just have this overwhelming feeling that I need to remember every single word on these pages. I'm unwell, basically. We are just coming to the end of chapter 35. I'm on page 445. I wanted to read this bit to you because I feel like this kind of sums up one of the major themes of this entire book, and how Helena is essentially a tool that the Order of the Eternal Flame are using until basically there's nothing left of her without any care for her, and how she's just basically sacrificing herself, never questioning it, never saying no, never assuming that she has an option, and just giving and giving and giving, and it's making me want to cry thinking about it. It just makes me so emotional. I just feel so deeply about this book is like the best way I can describe it. Anyway, let me read you the last bit I underlined before I paused and came up to bed. She couldn't fix herself anymore, and no one else seemed inclined to even notice she was breaking. And then her internal monologue, she's saying, "You are all alone, and when the war is over, you'll still be alone." This hurts. She's still somewhat unaware to how much she's been taken advantage of, and how being dutiful and loyal and sacrificing everything that she physically can for a greater cause than herself, or what she thinks is a greater cause than herself, because of her like heritage and her resonance. The fact that she's a Vivamancer, her magic is actually very, very frowned upon by the Eternal Flame and their belief system. Anyone who is a Vivamancer could also be a Necromancer because they're two sides of the same coin. So basically there's a lot of prejudice against her. That's another reason why she is how she is, and how she's so accepting of things and constantly giving without questioning that if that is actually okay. There's just so much to unpack. A lot of the stuff I've been underlining and tabbing as well has been like parallels from part 1, where she obviously didn't have her memories, but he's said something to her and she's reacted with the same answer as what she said when they first met. Well, not technically when they first met, but when they're sort of re-met as adults. I can't believe how much I'm tabbing this, but at the same time I can believe it because I'm not well. I think actually I will read these last 2 pages of this chapter so that I can end on a chapter, because I hate to stop in the middle of a chapter. Right, okay, we're stopping there at chapter 36, page 447. Another thing that I haven't really mentioned about Ferren is that he is also being used, just in a different way. Essentially, they are both being used as tools for different sides of the war. I just want my babies to have their happy ending. And when I say happy ending, I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but with what I have to go off, it's subjectively happy. But you know what, I guess we'll see. As much as I obviously want a happy ending in a book, I read to feel. And when books make me feel, even if the feelings are awful, that makes me love the book. And that's, you know, kind of how I feel about this, because it's not a happy story. Anyway guys, I'm gonna go and get some sleep now, and I will catch up with you whenever we have another update. Hopefully we can sit and read a little bit more together tomorrow night. I have another Alchemised update for you. I have read a chunk of this today because I have been a busy lady and I haven't been able to vlog reading this because I've been filming for a job that I've been doing for my home Instagram. The job I've been doing involved putting up a Christmas tree, and when I tell you it took me all day, I had to individually tie strings onto 100 baubles. I had to get the tree up. I had some issues with the tree skirt not fitting but managed to modify it. Anyway, long story short, I have read. I've had my headphones on for 90% of the day, I would say. So we have got a huge chunk of part 2 read, and I honestly don't think now I will be far from part 3. So just to give you an idea of how much I'm enjoying this book and how much I'm still feeling like I need to scribble down, it's a lot. I think we are about 74% in. I have made it to chapter 61. So we are getting there. I honestly thought it was going to take me so much longer to read this. I didn't anticipate having so much time that I'd be able to listen to it, but I'm really glad that I have. I mean, when I say I've been listening to it all day, that is a bit of an exaggeration because I was with Honey pretty much until 1:30. So actually, no, I've been listening to it for the whole afternoon. I lied, sorry. I found one of my favourite quotes from the whole book, and actually I've had a few of my favourite quotes from the whole book today. Earlier today I got the "you're like a rose in a graveyard" quote, and oh, my heart. These two, there's just nothing but like endless torment and suffering for them, and the only place they feel safe is with each other, and my heart just aches for them. It really does. It's just a lot. But anyway, I'm going to read you the quote. "I have warned you. If something happens to you, I will personally raise the entire order of the eternal flame. That isn't a threat, it's a promise. Consider your survival as much of a necessity to the resistance as holdfasts." And as well, this is very much a slow burn in sense of the romance. There's been a lot of sort of push and pull, and it is very much an enemies to lovers. But he is so obsessed with her. He is so obsessed with her. Well, if that quote doesn't tell you how obsessed with her he is, then I don't know what will. Basically, he is one of these morally grey men that would rather see the whole world burn than see her be hurt, and he doesn't value anyone's life apart from hers. She is all he cares about. These two have been through it. This is just an entirely new experience, a new story, but just with like the essence of the original story. And also I've had some amazing news recently, but I will actually be meeting Sen in the next couple of weeks, and I honestly don't even know how to feel. I feel like I'm just gonna see them and I'm just gonna burst into tears. I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to maintain composure at all. Eddie's ringing me. Hello? Yeah, you? All right, love you. Bye. He was just ringing to let me know he's gonna be home in a couple of hours. So we only have a couple of hours to get some reading done before he no doubt demands my attention. And I just spent all that time finding part 3 and I've just closed the book. Why did I do that? Oh, there we are. So it would be great if we could get to part 3 now. This is how much I have left to read. Until we make it to the last part of this book. We are currently on page 768. That is crazy. We need to make it to page 854, just under 100 pages to get to part 3. I think we can do that. Helena's character has had quite a lot of growth and is starting to recognise, and well, not that I don't think she recognised the manipulation before, but she didn't try to do anything about it. Just starting to question things a little bit more, and yeah, I really like that for her growth through this. What an insane twist. I did not see this coming at all. This is very clever. Oh, I'm not having fun, guys. I'm not having fun. Oh no. Oh, I just know that this next chapter is going to absolutely destroy me. Oh, why do we do this to ourselves? I just had to go take a minute and just recompose myself a bit and mentally prepare for what's going to happen in this next chapter. Oh, yeah, I'm scared. We have part 1 and we know the circumstances of how she ended up where she was at the beginning of part 1, and at the end of part 2 is essentially that event happening, and that event is what triggered her to be in where she was at the beginning of part 1, basically. So I'm guessing that this chapter 65, is the last part of part 2. This is how much we have left to get to part 3. I suppose we best continue. Oh my goodness. That, again, another twist I did not expect at all. I just got goosebumps. That is insane. Okay, guys, we made it to part 3, only anticipating going through more suffering in this last part, but we do it because we enjoy it. This is how our tabs are looking. This is an insane amount of tabs, even for me. I just don't want to forget a single detail about this. But anyway, guys, hopefully the next time I'm picking this up is because we are going to sit and finish it together. So guys, we are picking up Alchemised for potentially the last time right now, and even just saying that makes me feel emotional, because once I finish this, that means I'll never have the chance to experience this for the first time again. And that is just one of the hard truths of being a reader and finding books that you absolutely adore. But anyway, we have made it to chapter 70. So we are a couple of chapters in to part 3. The first few chapters of part 3, oh, they hit me hard. They hit me really hard. I was silently sobbing through most of them, but I'm ready to hurt a little bit more for a little bit longer and hopefully finish this book tonight. So let's get some more reading done. She wrapped her arms around his neck, wanting him nearer under her skin, beneath her ribs, inside her heart. To hold him so close nothing separated them, and the terror of losing him would finally end.
Wait.
Yeah. I've only got a little tiny bit left. Oh, my camera's gonna die anyway. Eddie's just got home and he's brought me some food, so I'm gonna go have something to eat. I have a chapter and a half left and then the epilogue, and then we're... Okay, we paused halfway through chapter 77. I don't know how I feel about this coming to an end. I'm not ready. I kind of wish I hadn't read it as fast as I have now, but at the same time, I couldn't bear to not just utterly consume this. So we are jumping back in at page 1004. This is how far we have read. This is how much we have left. Let's do this, guys. The rest of the world could burn and he wouldn't care. I don't think he'd even notice. Exactly. Exactly. If he is a monster, then I am his creator. We're on the epilogue, guys, page 1015. Okay, so we finished the book. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to go and take a minute before we can discuss this. So I took like 10 minutes and I still haven't stopped crying, so we're just gonna do this through the tears. I feel like nothing really good happens in this book, but it does have like a happy ending despite what you see right now. It's just Helena spent the whole war sacrificing and giving, being used as a tool, and so did Cain. I can't even speak. Eddie just brought me some tissues. He was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, no, I'm not. I think it obviously goes without saying that this was an absolute 6-star god tier read for me. I will quite literally never move on from this. It will consume my every waking thought for the rest of my life. Any books that can pull this much emotion from you, you just know it's a good book. I honestly cannot put into words how much I love this. And yes, it is over 1,000 pages, but I could read 1,000 more. Honestly, I could. I will say goodbye to you here, and the next time we catch up, hopefully, is when we are going down to meet Sen with fairyloot. Hello guys, sorry, I wasn't actually planning on coming back on here until it was time to go down to the fairyloot event to meet Sen. However, I've had an email from Sen's publishers asking me if I am free and willing to moderate for one of their talks with waterstones. Of course, I said yes, because how could you possibly turn down an opportunity like that? But I am so incredibly nervous. I'm so nervous. I've never moderated for an author before, so this will be my first. The event is sold out, so I know there's going to be, I think, 250 people in the audience, so a fairly big audience, and I would not say I'm the most confident public speaker, so this is definitely something that is like super out of my comfort zone, but I could not physically turn down this opportunity. I feel so incredibly lucky to have received that email and had been put forward and recommended for the job, but it is actually the night before the fairyloot event, so I am going to be moderating the Waterstones event in Manchester on the 19th of November, and so I need to come up with 45 minutes worth of questions and conversation topics, and then at the end we'll have 15 minutes where the audience can ask their questions to us and Sen can answer them. And I'm so excited to meet Sen and just let them know how much I love their book and chat to them about their book one-on-one. I know there's going to be a massive audience, but I'm going to just have to try and pretend that nobody is there. But anyway, I thought I'd just come on and give you guys a little update because I'm freaking out. It's so exciting that I can include it all in this one vlog. Life's crazy sometimes. But anyway, I will catch up with you guys on the date of the Waterstones event. Hello, please excuse the state of my office space, but I'm currently in crisis mode because I ordered I don't know, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I wanted to print the Alchemised map, or one of the maps, which is the Palladia map. I wanted to print these and cut them up and use them as cards to write my questions and conversation topics on, and I don't know when they're going to be here. And I've used this print company before, and the reason why I wanted to use a print company is because I need them to be on like card, so that they're proper cards and not just paper. However, we have had to get out my old printer, and thank goodness it felt like working today. So I have printed them out because this is the last possible time I have to do this before the event. And what I've had to do is I've had to print it on my normal printer, and to be fair, they haven't printed badly at all. And this is the map for those who haven't seen it. But then I've had to use a glue stick, and I've had to glue them to some card I had. Thank goodness I had some card. And I've used my cutting thingy, guillotine thing, and I have cut them into little squares. And I'm just sat here now writing my questions down on this side, and then so when I'm holding them, they'll look like this, little sections of the map. And I think I will still use my phone for the audience questions because they've sent me those over in like a table thing, and I haven't had a chance to go through those properly yet, just because I've been working on my own questions and conversation topics, and I've been really in my head about it because I want to make sure that I'm asking questions and thinking of topics that the audience will enjoy and want to know about, and also that Sen will find interesting, and things that they maybe don't get asked every single night of the tour, which is quite challenging. At the same time, I know they will be fully prepared to answer the same questions over and over again, because I suppose that's what happens on a book tour. And of course the audience might not see any of the other tour information, might not see any videos from it or anything, so this could be the only time they get to hear Sen speak. So I'm just very in my head about the questions to ask, making sure they're interesting for everyone there and for Sen as well. And so I kind of wanted to start off getting Sen to sort of say what Alchemised is about, like really basic. I just wanted them to describe it in their own words, I guess, for anyone who's there who hasn't read it yet, because of course there will be people there that haven't read Alchemised yet but obviously plan to read it. And so that is where I was kind of thinking of starting it, and then I was going to go into asking Sen about the world building and what inspired them the most when working on the world building. In Alchemised we start in the present and discover what's going on at the same time as Helena does, before our jump to the flashback chapters. And I'm curious to know, when writing, did you write in a linear fashion, or was it always a journey of discovery for you and the protagonist? Because obviously if you haven't read Alchemised and you don't know, it has like the amnesia trope in it, and so at the beginning of the book there is a huge gap in Helena's memory, like 14 months worth, and you are reading it from Helena's POV and it is very limited. You are discovering things with Helena, and then so when it gets to part 2, that's where we go back in time and it's essentially the flashbacks, everything that's missing from Helena's memory. So then you go through all of that with her as well. And so I was really curious to know if Sen wrote it in that way or if it was kind of going back and forth. So anyway, that's something I'm really interested to know, and I'm sure that probably has been asked before. I don't think I'm going to be coming up with anything groundbreaking that Sen has never been asked. I have here about if they have a favorite character that they wrote. I also have a question to kind of prompt the discussion around the female characters that Sen has written, because I feel like they have written very like strong and complex and layered female characters within Alchemised, and so I just wanted to know if there was any women or people in their life that had inspired these characters. I also have here to ask what gave them the desire to explore the themes of sort of death and immortality that is explored in Alchemised, and a bunch of others. I won't bore you with all of my questions. That is kind of the route I'm going down and trying to keep it interesting. I do also have some more personal ones in there, like about their writing routine, if they have like a particular ritual they follow or somewhere they like to write best, or a few little things like that. I just really hope it goes well. I really want it to go well. I just want everyone to have a great time. And also I'm really bad at reading aloud. Like if I'm reading something, I always get tongue-tied and the words like jumble up. But if I'm reading for myself, like I'm so fine. It's when I've got to read out loud, I don't know if that's like it gets lost in translation between my eyes and my mouth. So I'm just really worried that I'm gonna jumble my words up, but hopefully we'll be okay. I'm also going to ask about the movie and if Sen has a dream cast. I know they probably won't, but I think they'll have something to say about that. But anyway, I need to get this done, and then the next time I catch up with you guys will potentially be after the chairing has happened, because I'm not gonna lie guys, I am gonna be so nervous on the day and so busy on the day. I am gonna be like a whirlwind that day, so I think I probably won't catch up with you until afterwards now. So in that case, I guess I will see you on the other side. Hello guys, good morning. I'm rushing out the door this morning because it's decided it's going to snow today and my car is not the best in the snow. So I need to make sure I've got plenty of time to make sure I don't miss the train down to London, because today we're going to the fairyloot event to sit and have afternoon tea with Sen. So I'm just grabbing my books to take and go get signed. So I'm taking my standard hardback that I annotated, and then I'm taking my waterstones edition, which I think is already signed, but I would like to get it personalised. Is it signed? Oh, it's not signed. It's not signed. Okay, well, great then. I'm gonna get it signed. This is the outfit. I'll have to stand a little bit further back. Helena inspired red dress. I just thought it would fit the vibe. I have got thermal tights on underneath this because it is freezing today, and I'm gonna wear a big fur jacket with a hood so that I am nice and cozy warm, hopefully. I don't have time right now to recap last night with the moderation in Manchester with you, but hopefully when I get back from the fairyloot event and I have a moment to breathe, we can talk about it and discuss it, because wow, one experience. I can't believe I'm getting to see Sen twice. I couldn't be more grateful. But anyway, we need to get going, so let's go.
I got no reason to be sad. My mood is convinced me that it's bad. With every emotion that I had, but you don't care. Oh my God, it's so strange how we end up being here again. I don't care as long as you get me off my feet. I don't know what to say. Oh my God, it's so strange.
Hello guys, we are home. What an incredible and absolutely insane couple of days we've had. I feel like we first should probably have a little bit of a debrief about the chairing in Manchester. When I look at that experience, I almost see it as it was somebody else who experienced that and who did that. We had some snow, and I think there must have been some accidents, and it was meant to be just over 2 hours for me to get there, and I think in the end it took me 3 hours. I think I got there with 10 minutes to spare, and we actually ended up going out a little bit late anyway, so we ended up probably having 10-15 minutes just to sort of be in each other's company for a little bit. So that was really nice that I did have a minute to sort of take a deep breath before we went out. I thought I was going to be insanely nervous and shaking, and yes, I definitely was nervous. During the actual experience and sitting out in front of 250 people, you know, asking my questions and bringing up the conversation topics that I wanted to touch on, I felt so much better than I thought I was going to. I felt comfortable. Sen is just so beautifully articulated, so incredibly intellectual and knowledgeable, and I was just in awe of them. I honestly don't think I could have had a better author to have been my first chair, because every question that I asked, Sen made sure to answer so in depth, and they even went off on like tangents and made it really super engaging and interesting. And just listening to them talk, they were just so passionate, and I'm just in awe of them as a person, if I'm honest. Incredible. And also, I want to say a huge thank you to all the lovely people who were at the Manchester Waterstones event with Sen and I, and who messaged me afterwards and said that they thought I did a good job and that they really enjoyed it. That honestly was music to my ears, because I think with these things, it's so easy to get in your own head and be like, was that terrible? Was it good? Like, I had no real concept, if I'm honest, of how it went from the audience's perspective. I thought it went okay. I definitely had a few points where I felt like I was fumbling my words, and also I was getting so wrapped up in Sen's answers and really wanting to engage with them and pay attention to what they were saying, I needed to also remember that I need to know what I need to talk about next, what I need to ask next. I'm absolutely rambling here, but that is kind of how that experience was, and it was an incredible experience and a nerve-wracking experience, but an absolutely insane and crazy opportunity that I am so grateful for. I got home about 10:30 that evening, pretty late, but I got straight into bed, woke up the next morning. I was up at 6:30 getting ready to head to the train station at 8 a.m. to then go and spend time with Sen again. So seeing Sen twice in the space of 24 hours, I feel so incredibly lucky and grateful. Very much feels like a full circle moment for me, because Sen's writing has been such a core element of my reading journey from the beginning, really. Well, from when I started reading again as an adult. And so now Sen being a published author and going on a tour, and me being part of that, even in just such a small way, my head is just like... But the fairyloot event, it was gorgeous, and it was honestly so nice. And it's funny because everybody in the reading space who knows me knows how important this book is to me. And so Shannon from Fairyloot made sure to sit me next to Sen, and having like met each other the night before, I think that was really nice, and we could just kind of be a bit more relaxed at the afternoon tea, and the conversation could be a little bit more casual, and we got into so many interesting topics. At one point we were even talking about our mutual love for horses and riding when we were younger. Oh, it was just so nice just to be around them and be in their presence. Just such an inspirational and incredible person. And I had my book signed. Let me grab my books. And so now both of my editions of Alchemised have the famous SenLinYu signature in the red pen, and I could honestly not be happier. I feel so lucky. And honestly, what a way to end this vlog. When I started this vlog, I had no idea that I was going to be meeting Sen, let alone moderating for Sen. Anyway, guys, I'm going to start crying. So I think we'll end the video here, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here and supporting my channel. I appreciate you guys so much. And of course, I will see you in the next video.